Hi everyone, welcome to the seventh Conversations program. I'm Totally Speedo's Daniel Powell. This program is supported by LA Racing Lubricants. What we're talking about tonight is going to be all in regards to media, journalism and promotion of the sport of Australian Speedo. On the line we've got veteran Speedo journalist in Darren O'Dea from Perth in Western Australia. Darren, thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Daniel. Thanks for that. I don't know about the word veteran, that makes it sound old, but yeah.
the veteran status doesn't sit well with you. So
I'm still only in my 40s.
Yeah, exactly. 47 to be exact. So with that, so Darren, firstly, a lot of people might have seen your name over the years. A lot of people would see the name, but wouldn't know a whole lot about you. Tell us a bit about your role in the media, and you're one of the few people in this industry of Australian Speedo that actually is qualified as a journalist and does that as a full-time profession aside from the Speedway stuff. Tell us a bit about how the journalism side got in there with you, which has led to you being an editor now.
Yeah, okay, so I started in the media landscape 30 years this month, actually. I only sort of realised that the other day. So I started as a cadet journalist in November 1987 as a sort of bright-eyed 17-year-old, and sort of worked in country newspapers and, did my runs on the board there in country locations. And, I think that's been a great grounding to get involved in media, communications, understanding people, chatting to people. And sort of my media progressed from there, and then I moved to bigger papers, traditionally with the Rural Press Group and then the Fairfax Media Company, and took on the editorship of a few of the different mastheads over that time, some of the biggest ones here in Western Australia. Prior to that, I was always a Speedway fan. Used to get dragged along on a Friday night, much as we could, with my parents when I lived in a regional town, but quite often we'd back off work or school on a Friday night. We'd drive to Perth to get there in time to watch, the John Day youths going around preparing the track. And, I was sort of hooked from a very young age. I sort of got my parents to blame for that. So the sport's always been there in one shape or another. But living in rural and remote towns for a while, it sort of didn't happen as much as I would have liked. But any opportunity when I used to get to the big smoke to go to Speedway, we certainly would make it a priority. Yeah. And I said, Claremont had a lot to do with that in the younger days. That was really the only place I went before that. And then when I moved to the outer metropolitan area, I live an hour south of Perth, I became a little bit more involved. And had a chat to Con Migro, who was running Claremont Speedway at the time in St. Gareth, and sort of started writing some stories for their Claremont Speedway program in the mid-90s.
So that was pretty much when you got involved with Speedway as such?
It was about 1995, started doing that, and then sort of around the same time, I remember chatting to Tony Loxley at Speedway Racing News, and we sort of had a bit of a chat, and sort of said, well, I've got a story idea, how about I write your story? And I didn't know this guy from the bar of soap, so I wrote a story for Tony, and he pretty much said, yeah, when can you get it to me? And I said, I'll get it to you tomorrow if you like. So I smashed out a story. I remember the story actually was on Joe Little, who was a speed car driver in Kalgoorlie. Yeah. Had a chat to him about his career, and it was a pretty cool little story to have a chat to, because Joe's one of those guys that likes to have a chat about. And then sort of it progressed from there, and that was sort of just a one-off plan, but Tony sort of rang up and said, how can you do this story? Yeah, okay, so I did that the next day, and then the next day he said, what about this one? So by the end of the week, I think I've done 3 stories for him, and it sort of progressed from there, and then I think about a year later, I took over doing the Speedway program, so I wrote most of that.
That was about 1996? Something along that?
96, 97 season.
Yeah.
We started that. So that was also designing the magazine, writing the magazine, coordinating the photographers. So doing all that, and even producing the ad copy for it.
Yeah.
So, sort of progressed from there, and obviously for a few years there with Speedway Racing News with Tony Loxley and with David Lander when he owned it.
Yeah.
Was pretty heavily involved. I mean, I think there were some editions of SRN in those early days. I probably had my, byline on every page or every second page.
Because I remember seeing that as a kid and opening Speedo Racing News and reading stories about you know, as that Joe Little story and reading of Darren O'Dea, I'm like, who's this guy? You know, because you've seen names like Ken Brown, you know, Wade Orange, obviously he started, you know, he's coming through as well, sort of thing, and just seeing these people, these names, and hearing about drivers that you don't know, because back then we didn't have the internet. It was just magazines, and that's what you had to rely on.
It was, and look, you know, in those early days, I didn't know a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could quite easily wander through the pits at Claremont Speedway, and some of the guys who I'd interviewed probably owned the fun. I'd never actually met face to face. You know, so
did that make it hard in terms of getting a story? Like, as a journalist myself, and publisher and editor, the relationships with people, you know, back then, because, or did you find it easy?
I actually find it easier the less you know, sometimes the better, because, and I do that now, obviously I'm still a newspaper editor these days, and what I sort of say to the journalist is don't assume you know everything, because if you think you know something, or you've got a preconceived idea about the person or the story you're going to be writing about, you're probably not going to write the story to how it should be written. You know, I always prefer to come in a little bit blind, a little bit cold, and sort of say, right, excuse my ignorance, but, you know, what's a sprint car? Yeah, but not quite to that extent. Obviously, I knew what a sprint car was, but, you know, tell me a bit about this, or tell me, I'm not really sure. So to me, it was like a challenge. You know, I know some people sort of do say it might be a disadvantage, but being a bit of a curious person, you know, I used to ask these questions straight up before they even draw breath. So,
it's the story of my life, finding that. It's just like, why do you want to know? It's like, why?
And my wife still gets said this to me to this day, what are you, you know, why am I getting the 30 questions, you know? So, in those early days, a lot of people didn't know who I was, and I didn't mind that. Some days I wish I still was like that. But,
exactly, now you can't.
And then it sort of progressed from there.
Yeah, so it all went from there. And how would you find, like, obviously the mid-90s, going into the late 90s and into the early 2000s, the arrival of the internet? Do you feel that Speedway sort of evolved with the internet, or was it left behind in a way? Still being stuck with the print sort of thing?
Yeah, I think the world sort of has evolved with the internet, and obviously Speedway's part of it. Sometimes good for the good and sometimes for the bad. I mean, in the early days, you know, the traditional media was sort of working hand in hand with, you know, the internet, and sort of went from there. And then obviously the internet sort of took over a little bit more. But then what really made the difference to me was the social media side of things. You know, it wasn't just a one-way street with the internet, with the website. You know, the Speedway sort of, you know, in certain forms, it sort of went with it. In other areas, it did. But, you know, I don't think that was symbolic just to Speedway. I think that was, you know, other things in general I've been involved with have been exactly the same. So, yeah, some for the better, some for the worse.
Yeah, with that. And tell us a bit about, you know, like obviously your newspaper doing the journalism stuff, like, you know, with Speedway magazines and that. Tell us a bit about behind the scenes from the PR point of view. You had some time with World Series, obviously your recent, you know, over the years, your AHG series. Tell us a bit about your time with World Series. You were doing that from the outside, weren't you? You weren't.
Yeah, that was a bit of a bizarre situation, that one. What I did for a couple of years there, I actually wrote and produced the World Series Sprint Cars magazine. And look, that once again was an interesting challenge, because, you know, most of the drivers at that stage were based on the East Coast, and they were just names to me, so I just had to track down names and numbers in the early days, just to interview guys, and with the time difference, like, you know, as you can understand, it's only 4:45 here in Western Australia now.
It's
so, you know, and if I got home from work too late, it was 7 o'clock at night, and you find I really need to interview Trevor Green, you know, or one of the other guys was Robbie Farr running the series at the time, and the time difference was really awkward. So quite often what I had to do was, you know, when I put in the magazine, it was just get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and at 5 o'clock in the morning and do that. And then sort of from there, I really just, you know, there was a bit of a change going around World Series at that stage.
So we're talking early 2000s when Wade was running it, or was it?
No, I think it was post Wade running it, and then somebody just said, well, you know, I remember having a whinge to, you know, a few people at the time. I said, so, you know, what's happening with the PR? And it hadn't really Yeah, as I said, I'm not really sure the circumstances, what happened, and then somebody said, well, no, nothing's really organised. And I remember talking to people like Kathy Kelly and then at the time, and they said, well, can you put some releases together? So I just sort of started doing that for that season, and it sort of just snowballed.
That was in World Series, was in limbo, wasn't it? It wasn't really anywhere, and left when Wade had finished with World Series, and then it was run by the promoters or something, wasn't it, for one season?
I think that's what it was, from memory, yeah.
I think it was about 2007, something, 2006, 2007, something.
Yeah, mid 2000, yeah. I have the programs here somewhere, but I just can't remember where they were. So it was around that day, so I just fell into that by accident. That wasn't really part of the plan. So we just bumbled along as best we could. But to get the idea was to get the information, because as I said, it was half, the world was half internet, the world was still half traditional media at that stage. Yeah. So it was to get the information out for the next morning to news organisations that required it. And things like that. So that was, I think I only did that for a year or two, and that was only my plan. Actually, I just looked up on the thing on the wall, 2008, 2009 series. I was also involved. I just found something on my wall.
Yeah. So how did you, when you were based over there, how did you handle getting all the information? Because you would pretty much write the media release, the time difference was 3 hours, obviously. How did you obtain all the information in order to write a factual media release when you weren't really there? You weren't there.
Yeah, well we managed the second half of that season. I actually didn't manage to get to a few of those shows just because we've got a bit organised after that, but I didn't turn the game to one person show and got rained out. I've got a bit of form when I go interstate. So if I'm coming to a track near you and I sort of say, look, I'm interstate, I'm coming to your Speedway, probably not a good idea because it usually rains out when I get there. But going back to your question, there was audio, and the time difference worked. That in that respect worked to my advantage. So I would think, I'd do all my other Speedway work or my other, media work at that point in time, and I'd have the audio and I'd have it through some speakers pumping through the wall, so I could pick it up through Speedway World or whatever had the audio at that stage. So we had that guy, and the guys that were doing that did a great job providing information, because it wasn't, visual, it was just audio at that stage. So they had to explain. So you could sort of shape a fair bit from that. And then afterwards, just try and, I had a list of mobile phone numbers for the drivers, and then, most of them, some of them I didn't have, and, just ring them up, have a chat. So, it might have been, 1 o'clock in the morning in the Eastern States, and it was only 10 o'clock here in Perth afterwards. So, I had the ability to turn that story around before I got too tired.
Exactly.
That was the best. It wasn't the ideal way of doing things, but at that time, as I said, it was an accidental thing I fell into, but it worked. I think it worked. But, we managed to get done and coordinated. Things like, I think it was in Tasmania at Latrobe, the North system, coordinated stuff with, and I used some contacts in the media landscape that I had in each state, and we coordinated bits and pieces. It wasn't ideal, but, it worked for what it was at the time. Obviously, since then, it's progressed much more now, and, because they didn't have full-time people back then doing it either.
Exactly.
We just made do with what we had at the time.
Yeah, so in terms of, from promoting Speedway to the media, Darren, tell us a bit about the challenges for that, and does it give you an advantage being in the media and understanding it when you are promoting the sport to general media, not just...
Probably. Obviously, I understand what the media wants.
Like deadlines, about follow-ups.
But the challenge within that is, a lot of the general media now, for work, don't want much Speedway. In a regional centre, like for instance this weekend we have sprint cars in Bunbury. Perth this weekend. The Bunbury media landscape is very supportive of the Bunbury Speedway. We've got good competing mastheads down there. We managed to supply a copy for competing mastheads for that to promote this weekend show. So, and from that point of view, they're good. But, say they're in Perth, the local community papers around the motor sector are also very supportive of it. But the big media, it's a lot harder. They're just not,
So the Western Australian is just not interested. But they did have, like the Ken Brown's column. Do they still have the West Australian Speedo column now, or is that now that
they do have a little bit there. because you're not checking for a while, but there is information that is supplied there by the motor fleet does supply that direct to the West, and the West does run a lot of that, and that's done with Luke Newmont.
Yeah.
And Luke done a great job for that with the Speedway and the drag racing side of things. So there's still that there, but like years ago, we used to race on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I would get a photographer down from the West to strip from the Sunday Times. They would take photos on the Friday night. I'd meet the photographer, so this is the story I'm going to write. We would sit there, we'd map out their story and the pictures, and we'd write it on the Saturday, and they would be Sunday players. Then we moved Speedway to Saturday night.
Yeah.
And that created a bit of a challenge, and it made it a lot harder because they had earlier print deadlines. But what we did was, for the early editions that went out into the regional areas for the Sunday Times, I wrote a feature story. So they got a feature story.
Still have content.
And then what?
Yeah.
So that could get on the plane and go to the the remote parts of the state. And there was 4 or 5 different print deadlines for that night for different areas. But in the latter editions of that paper, I could still get stories. What happened that feature race that night at 10:30, and it would still be in that Sunday Times that was delivered at 3-4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. But then I sort of dropped that just for the fact that my workload was taking over. I had my own workload to deal with, and I've got a young family, so that had to take.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things that we did in those days, I've sort of now scaled back out. I'd love to do more of that.
Yeah. Do you feel that it's still, with the digital age now, is there still Speedway, does it have the appeal? Because especially here on the East Coast, we see the only time Speedo gets coverage is when there's a big accident. Like there was a young sprint car driver that hurt his back at a hurricane, and then it got on Channel 9 and everything, but any other time they don't want to know Speedway. How do you feel that Speedway can change that, or is the damage done?
I wouldn't say the damage has been done. I mean, and it's not just the speed, because we know Speedway and we're passionate about Speedway, we think it's just Speedway. But it's really, a lot of sports are just as frustrated as Speedway. And some sports actually get, probably should get better treatment than they do. And Speedway probably gets more than them in some respects as well. But it's a hard one. But, you have to take it on an individual case by case wherever you are in the country. Like, if you're running the venue, what might work for. You might hit it off with the sports editor at a particular paper or the community editor, and they might say, I really like that idea, and they'll run with it, and they'll probably bend over backwards for you as long as you supply them what they want and you educate them. But then you'll get to, they might move on, the next person might come into that role, and they'll go, Speedway, that's one of those things that, guys with mullets and t-shirts and, bags, so it's all about perception. So there's no real hard and fast answer to that. I'd love to just go around every single one and say, right, this is how the sport is, this is what we can supply you.
Because it's about spoon feeding them, isn't it? Like you've really got to spoon feed them. You can't just, and that's what people don't understand. Everyone in Speedway is just like, we need more media coverage. We've got to have more people to help promote and push that through to make that happen, because they're not Speedo's. General journalists are just not going to rock up and just go, we want to cover Speedway today. They just don't think like that because they don't have time. Because as you know, everyone's time poor. Newsrooms are getting smaller, so it makes it hard.
And that was the point I was going to make. Newsrooms are a lot smaller than what they used to be in general terms. So there's a lot of experienced operators aren't around anymore that would have understood the mechanics of the sport in the past. It's a basic crew in a lot of areas because the media landscape has moved to a different area. But in saying that, I think there are some opportunities now with a lot of major news rooms. They're very geared up digitally. The company I work for is very geared up digitally. So so maybe we need to reassess. Okay, let's have a chat to these newsrooms about digital content we can supply. Whether it's an in-car camera bit of footage that goes for 30 seconds, whether it's a little package that a sponsor, a promoter puts together, or someone involved with that track puts together, and give them a ready oven-made package that's like, here's 2 minutes will happen, and they can put that up online. I think that those opportunities are there. It's just about who's going to put them together, who's got the time, and who's going to have a chat to the media, and which media are interested in. Because I think there's certainly opportunities for that to happen in the future for sure.
Yeah. But in terms of the future for the media landscape for Speedway, you know, I mean, like there's like myself, I'm considered still young, and I'm at the age of 34 in terms of journalism. In terms of the ones coming through, how can we encourage people to want to take up? Like, there's plenty of photographers, but there doesn't seem to be many writers that want to take up that craft. So,
look, it's a $1 million question. And you know, as somebody who hires journalists, you know, the talent pool is less.
Yeah.
That's coming through the systems now. So, you know, less people want to be, you know, a Walkley Award-winning journalist who want to write a 2,000-word story. You know, most of the people I interview, and you know, I've done this process in the last 8-9 weeks where I've employed, you know, I've had some journalist positions, and you have a chat, you know, so where do you want to be in 3 years' time? Well, they pretty much straight away go TV or radio. Print is obviously is not where they're at, you know, because obviously they're looking ahead to where a lot of the landscape is going to be. There's still going to be a need for a lot of these print ones, but nowhere near as much as what there is for radio and digital journalism is where it's going to be.
Yeah.
So you need them for that, and for that, you know, a digital journalist now, you know, it's got to be Twitter savvy, it's got to be Facebook savvy, got to know how to put together a video on their phone from an event and edit it on their phone in their car straight away.
Yeah,
you know, so that's where it's at. So you know, that's what we need to do. You know, there'll be people that can do that. We just need to get, you know, the promoter or wherever, the series, whatever it is they want to do, you know, get in touch with the digital side of things. This is only my view, but get in touch with a lot of those. If you find the right one that's interested, that's keen, then, you know, I still think there's opportunities for that. There's still stories to be told, and we don't just have to wait for, you know, the traditional, there's a big pile-up in turn 2 at the feature race at the local track last night. You know, we just, you know, the message is there, it's just going to be told in a different form.
Yeah. And sometimes less is more. Having it, like as you said, a tight package, not waffling on sort of thing. And that's like what we're doing tonight. We're doing a tight little interview, and we've got people watching it live in regards to what we're talking about. So that leads into one of my final questions that we've got here, Darren. Tell us a bit about your role with the Sprint Car Entrance Group, which runs the AHG series. Obviously, 410 Sprint Cars, a bit of a lull at the moment when it comes to you guys over on the West Coast, but you guys are certainly leading the way in terms of promotional ideas of what you guys are doing.
Look, the sprint car is in the landscape in Western Australia. I mean, the economy in Western Australia at the moment, you know, we've gone from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill, I suppose, as far as economic output goes. You know, 5-6 years ago, there was a lot of money in the state. Mining was huge. You know, guys who probably 4 or 5 years prior to that might have run a 360, you know, and done a limited campaign. You know, a lot of them had access to more resources, more funds, more sponsorship. So all of a sudden, you know, they rocked up with 410s and they had 2 or 3 of them. So, you know, it was great, but, you know, the bubble's always burst. Prior to that, we're probably where we are at now. And I've had looked back at some old Motorplex programs from the early days in the Motorplex in the early 2000s. Our feature numbers then aren't that much different to now.
So around the 16.
You know,
16.
Yeah, around 18 to 20 cars, you know, and what would happen is some nights we used to run combined 360s and 410s because that's just what was required. So, you know, it's now gone back to that. So
it's kind of like the Claremont days. Didn't Claremont back in the day the 360s used to start a lap ahead or something like that? There
were various formats that they did have with that. And I think the very first season of the Motorplex, from memory, I think we had 8 regular 410 drivers or thereabouts. In that first couple of shows, I know we finished Claremont with 5 or 10 open cars, and you know the Motorplex, you know, in those early days, like you know Trevor Green won the first feature race at the Motorplex.
Kendrick racing team back then, wasn't he?
Yeah. Gavin Migro he was on the podium from memory, and he had a 360 that night. You know, you know, so it was like that then. It's like now, you know. So we just have to work with what we've got. You know, there's an element of politics. There's an element of financial implications. There's an element of other people just want to do other things now as well. So there's all of that. So we just have to work with what we've got. You know, there's always going to be, you know, when we put posts up, you know, we go to Bunbury this weekend, we'll probably have 16, 17 cards. Yeah. You know, the usual thing, as soon as the nominations go up, you know, within a minute you'll see a keyboard warrior go, oh, 4 car count. Yep, we know that. But it is what it is. We can't help. We can't help a lot of that. You know, I know probably 6, maybe 8 drivers who will race at the Motorclubs this season who just don't have the budget to go to Bunbury.
Yeah. Because you've got guys like Sean Bradford, he's lightning fast, and he's doing selected races. Yep.
Sean will probably only do, I reckon, 8 to 10 shows this year maximum. He's already done 2. And he's got a win in a second.
Really bad strike rate. So, yeah.
You know, and you know, Sean's got a young family. He hasn't got the budget this year, and he's, you know, he's typical of a lot of other guys that are out there that just don't have the budget. You know, and a lot of these guys have got young families now too. So, you know, but you always have the new ones come through. So we just have to work with what we've got. We've got to try and keep it upbeat as much as we can. We would love to do more. It's pretty much on the SEG side of things. That is me with the promotional side of things. Yeah. You know, we've got a board and the promoters. Obviously, the promoters do a great job with what they're doing. So we just try. We're probably changing a little bit just because of my workload as well. How we do things this year. Yeah. We used to do a lot more blow-by-blow restrictions on the race night. I've sort of compared that back a little bit this year just because there are enough services out there that do that now. Yeah, right. So we're sort of concentrating on doing a thing at the end. Yeah. So one of the new things we've done 3 times, and we're sort of just tweaking it. We're not really there with it. Is the top 3 driver briefing straight up into the Facebook Live thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
So we're trying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the Jeff Kendrick organised for a new banner to be done last week with Jason Perella. He's done that. Next week we'll have it in front. We'll actually have it in the right position. We did it the other time. We had it too high.
Yeah.
We were trying a new microphone system the other day. We were still just messing with that. Hopefully we can get that sorted as well. Yeah. And it's just about trying something different, because if we just keep doing the same thing, we'll end up with the same thing. So we've got to try something different each week. But it's also challenging the drivers. Like at the very first meeting we had all the drivers in a briefing room, or, you know, the stewards briefing, and I said, right, we need a selfie with all the drivers. So I've got Craig Maiolo to take a selfie on my phone with him with all the drivers. Yeah. But half the guys said, oh, you know, some of the guys, that was really cool. And, you know, other drivers, some of them have been around for a while, go, oh, what do we have to do that for? So, you know, it's not just educating the fans, it's also educating the drivers. Yeah. You know, one of the things I had with, you know, trying to do video interviews with drivers at the end of last season, and the season before, you know, I'd go up to the winner's truck, you know, 10, 15 minutes after the thing, and they'd go, yeah, okay, we'll be with you in a minute. And then they'd sit there in their truck, and then they'd get changed, and then they'd have a chat to 5 or 6 people, and people want to come do their autographs. Yeah. And then they go, oh, do we really have to do it? You know, some of them really, and it wasn't the new drivers. Yeah. You know, they have to be pointed. It was people who've been around the sport for a while.
That should know better.
They should know better. Well, they just don't want to do it. They just don't understand the relevance of it. You know, some of them have got pretty big fan base. Yeah. So, you know, I used to hang around.
They want to embrace them. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying this driver briefing thing. You know, the top 3 will get there. We're having a bit of crack at that. We're also doing a video recap, which we'll put together. That will go up on the Sunday night after each round.
Because it needs to be fast, doesn't it? You can't just put it on Wednesday or Thursday. Everyone's thinking about the next weekend. You need to have it pretty promptly, don't you?
You do. So as soon as we get home, and look, we're not geared up, but we're not experts at it. It's only myself and my 17-year-old son that's doing that. Yeah. So we're just using normal cameras with video capability. We're just having a crack. Yeah. So we'll put that together. But as part of that, we'll start putting the sponsors into it as well. We had sponsors of the AHB series. Their logos will start to appear from this week, just to promote them as well. So they're putting money into the sport for the drivers. So each week we just want to try one new thing a week if I can, and then do some things will work, some things will won't.
Yeah, exactly. And how has the sponsors, because the landscape's changed now, you know, like for far too long Speedway has banged away going, we need TV, but it seems to be sponsors these days going, oh, what's your social media audience? You know, and sort of thing. How have you found that? Because you guys have got TV as well with 7 Mate. You've got a regular package, the night funder, but you're doing a lot with social media. How do you balance that to make it beneficial for both parties?
Yep. As to how we balance it, I'm not really sure. really sure. Obviously, there's a TV crew that do that. That's up like through Holly Chalice at this company. They do the Night Thunder TV show. With the first one went to air last week. Last Sunday morning. So they do that, and obviously then there's the idea to get a budget together for that, so that makes that happen. And most of the money goes into that. Like as far as the social media side of things go, that's a low end budget thing, and that's probably the message there is you can do a lot of budget things like that. Where you can put them together, and social media doesn't cost you a lot. It will cost you a lot of time. Because those videos, even the ones I put together on Saturday night, Sunday morning, probably still take a few hours. And that gets done after the results are done. So,
but in terms of that, Darren, the ROI, so the return on investment, how is that? On TV, money pumped into TV, but what about social media? What's your opinion on that?
As in, is it worth putting TV together for the shows?
Yeah, or both.
And what the return the sponsors get?
Yeah, like what's the feedback from?
Look, I don't actually have a lot of that data sort of on me. I sort of have stayed, because that's not my direct fit. I've sort of stayed out of that part of it. But look, I do know that, and some of the drivers, some drivers don't see the value in TV. But the most of them was, was surveyed at the start of the season, and the data was actually released at the season launch, when we had a launch, at the start of the year. And the people said, do you believe in TV? Do you think you get your value out of it? Not all of them, but more than 50%. I'm thinking on the run, trying to find what I'm talking to, but I can't see it on my board. But they did say they wanted it and they got some value out of it. How to quantify that? Look, I just don't know. There was certainly some support. Okay, here actually I've just found it. And the drivers think the television coverage is necessary. 46% said yes. 34% said no. 9% said yes, but more rounds need to be televised. And 9% said yes, but less rounds televised. So there's some data that was crunched from that. But once you put it to, the yeses straight up and the yeses but, there was probably 75% on that thing. But, that was also a survey that said we just support more country round, surveyed on the format, on handicapping, all of that sort of stuff. Some of the teams I've spoken to said that definitely got some good value out of their backers on the TV. And, it's one of those things, if you don't try it, you don't know you're not going to get any outcome. So you've really got to try these things and review them and be ruthless in your reviews, with everything you do. What does and what doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. But how can the drivers be, like a lot of drivers, you and I both know this, they're either shy or they don't see the benefit. Does it come down to Speedway educating the drivers more in terms of their, not obligation, or sort of their obligations, helping the sport to help them? Is that something that you feel that needs to be done or could be done better?
Look, I always think drivers, need to be a little bit more aware of how they present themselves. I think in the main, most of them now are aware. When the camera's on, they pretty much they respond a lot better now than they used to years ago. Because once upon a time there wasn't much TV in their face, whereas there's cameras in their face for the TV show, but there's also cameras in their face, particularly at the motor peaks, every round, because obviously the big screen and their own, the guys at the motor peaks have got their own pretty much show that goes on the big screen straight away. So they're used to the responses now. So each heat race winner goes to a spot and they park up and the camera's a microphone shoved in their face. So they're getting a lot more proficient at what they do. You'll get the usual, so how was that? Oh, yeah, no.
I saw a clip that was put together a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
A couple of years ago with a classic from that, and I don't think a lot of the guys, until they were shown that video clip, realised what they were doing. So it probably it's been great in that respect that after they put that together, that it made them more aware. And then it's been shown at awards night, things like that. but and the main, and the younger drivers now are more responsive to it because it's part of that immediate responsive media, as part of social media. They're a lot more adapt to it now than probably what the traditional driver would have been 10 years ago.
In the past, and I would like, from a personal point of view, like even what you guys are doing with the media conferences, then it's great to get that for when I'm doing my weekend wrap shows. I've got content there from James McFadden. Okay, what happened here? What happened there? And getting feedback, and it was great. Just like Jason Pride when he won his first feature, and you would have seen that. Everyone was happy for him. Everyone would have said that's a great sign of respect for a racer to be able to have everyone say, "Well done, mate. You deserve it," sort of thing. So.
Yep. And going on J-Mac the other day when we did that, obviously the drivers are told at the drivers' briefing back again, and they're getting used to it now.
Yeah.
Come to the fact of this thing. J-Mac was very professional with it all. He was the first one to rock up, and he sort of, he asked me all the questions. So what do you want me to do? What do I need to say? And I was really impressed with the way he did that. And it just showed, he's a professional. Not to say the other guys aren't as well.
No.
There's some guys in the WA team who can talk the talk, and there'll be certain drivers this year who will. That will play up on the microphone deliberately, which is what we want, because we want a bit of that. We want a bit of that banter.
The villains, all that sort of thing.
I know Jason Kendrick and a couple of guys like that. I know this year when they get on into there, I know we're going to have a bit of fun with them. And we've got David Friolo, who's the next racer. He's standing beside me at these interviews as well.
Yeah, I can hear that. You can hear his voice.
David's going to try and look for different things to get that little bit of banter happen with the guys. Just to make it a little bit more interesting.
Because it was funny in one of the interviews back to Jason Pride when Jason was doing his donuts and he backed up. He'd done a donut, then it rolled back, and then Jason Kendrick goes, "Oh yeah, I wish you'd done that in the race."
Exactly.
It was just funny.
And that's
things
what we're
like
after.
that. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're after. Unfortunately, that night we actually get a lot more cool snippets like that, and we're trying to put it together, but we had a bit of problem with the audio, so we had our all placed on. But we'll work on that for the next one. So we look forward to a bit more of that banter, I guess. Just to make it more important.
And that's the thing; it's got to be entertaining, sort of thing. Not only the racing, but also the off-track sort of stuff. Because we watch what happens with all the UFC, with the fighting and the boxing and the rugby league and the AFL and all that sort of stuff. All the show off the fields and out of the ring and all those sort of things. So.
No, we gave the guys a beer the other night, and after they finished, and then they realised the three of them were standing around in the circle with David Powell having more of a chat. So I actually just grabbed my phone and just stuck it next to them, just listen. And that was probably just as much fun as the 10 minutes we spent beforehand doing formal questions. So
it was when they were talking about the cars, and really they're talking their own lingo with the race cars, so they know. J-Mac was saying with Sean would get away, and then he goes, and then you can see the car working and what it was doing. And that's awesome. So, all right, Darren, well, I'll let you run. Thank you very much for coming on tonight's shows, the conversations piece. But it's been really enjoyable, and I think a lot of people can get a lot out of it, know a bit about yourself, but more importantly, knowing where the sport's headed and how we can really push the sport forward and really get it into the media spotlight, especially in the digital age.
No worries, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Darren. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
So, guys, that concludes tonight's 7th Conversations program. We had the logo there, but it's dropped out, unfortunately, technical glitch. But once again, thanks, Darren and the team from LA Racing Lubricants. Much supported for their support. Guys, please like, comment, share. We're going to upload this to our YouTube channel. But please, really enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed putting it together. And we'll see you on Friday for the weekend preview. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. See ya. Bye.